Hey guys, how's it going? Preparing you. So yesterday there was a pretty big PoE patch, and it's got me a little bit excited. As you guys know, I play PoE a lot. It's one of my go-to games, probably in addition to Hearthstone, where, you know, if there's some cool stuff coming up, I may get inspired to make a new build, and I'm still in the process of, thinking about it, seeing what's good, what's OP. I definitely have the currency in the game to load it up again. So we'll see on that front. But I have evaluated the patch, I have tested some things, and I want to give you guys my opinion on all the little things that have changed, and I'm sure those of you that don't play PoE may appreciate some of the knowledge, what's new on the game. So let's get started. So this is my discharge character. This character was affected a little bit by the patch, but I can use to demonstrate some of the changes. But before that, I want to show you guys a new skill. This is a skill that was introduced with the latest patch, Stormcall. I have used it. Some people tried using it in a race environment, and they thought it was pretty good. You know, nothing super insane, but pretty good. And based on the scaling from what I've seen, it seems like it's a pretty solid skill as well. I don't see it as being something like super OP or anything like that. Definitely no spectral throw where pretty much everyone that was melee would use it in addition to their arsenal of melee attacks. But still pretty good. So what does it do? Well, you click on a part and it puts an icon and then it blasts that icon. And you can queue them up, and if you queue them up, they pop in sequence. So if you spam a lot of them, they go off in sequence, and if you have higher cast speed, you know, you can fit more into that range, and you could use reduced duration if you just want a single target. Seems pretty good. The reason it is pretty good is because if you scale it with crit, or if you scale it with just shock chance in general using static blows or other means, you'll be able to, you know, kind of like proliferate or just keep stacking on that shock stats. So if you have a heavy target like a boss or something like that, the duration that it's shocked is based on the damage versus its life as a percentage of that. And what happens is if you do a cluster of sequence of lightning attacks, a small shock will lead to a bigger shock, because while the target is shocked for that very small moment in time, it can be hit by a larger amount of damage, resulting in a larger shock stack. So pretty cool. Definitely plays on a lot of the mechanics in the game, and because it is a duration AoE lightning and spell, it's pretty much affected by almost every support gem that you have as a caster, except for the projectile stuff, of course. So some pretty cool stuff there. The other pretty big change is to the way that Ignite works. So this is a discharger, and with Discharge, the character uses Life Leech, Elemental Prolift, Chance to Ignite, Fire Pen. So basically I get Endurance charges with Enduring Cry and Warlord's Mark Curse after I kill units. And using them, I do a Fire-based Discharge. The Fire-based Discharge is not a crit discharge, but it has a chance to ignite enemies of 46%. When used on a group of, let's say, 5 monsters, more than likely I'll ignite about 2 of them. And then the 2 that get ignited will proliferate their ignite damage, and, you know, Fire Pen and Life Leech that don't die. That's kind of the scope of this character. And they changed it the way that burning damage works. So burning damage prior to the patch was 1/3 of the original hit every second for 4 seconds. And now they nerfed it to 20% per second over 4 seconds. So the nerf is pretty substantial. It's about 2/3 of the damage. It's a little bit less than that, but roughly that. But what they changed is they made it so if you're doing a damage type, you can increase the damage over time of that type by using its increased damage. So that seems a little weird, but what basically it does, I can use the example of my Searing Touch. Before you could only increase the ignite with burning damage, and now you can increase it with fire damage, and Searing Touch has fire damage. So even though the base is lower, even though 20% is lower, the burning damage still works as it used to. And then added on the burning damage, not multiplied, but added on the burning damage, is now the fire damage. So you have the amount on the staff, and you have the amount on the skill tree. I have 31% there, another 10 there, and You have the burning damage there, and you can, you know, choose to get some additional fire damage if you choose. And the idea is, even though the base damage was nerfed, the damage, it feels about the same, but on this particular character, it probably is nerfed. So they did nerf the fire-based discharger, at least this specific build, but it really doesn't feel that bad. The other changes, which I can't really demonstrate in the game, there is one where they made it so the larger area, or the maze, these map modifications no longer show up on the maps. And this is pretty interesting because they've made it so they're like defaulted on the maps. So a map is default larger, and you have to focus on hard modifications to get a lot out of that map. What this does is it makes the maps that were really good as mazed or a larger area into incredibly good maps. For instance, I was doing a cemetery the other day, and cemetery gets, you know, really big from increased area, and it was definitely no disappointment there. Even as a discharge of the map took me like, you know, 4 or 5 minutes, which is pretty crazy considering how fast I clear easy ass maps like that. So that's a really cool change. It definitely fine-tunes the map system to where if you want more out of your maps, you have to do the difficult ones. So, you know, that's the original concept, and it's very good that they've realigned the parameters so it becomes that way once again. And the last change, which was pretty nice, is they added a bunch of supporter packs, which, you know, every now and then I'd buy one, but it's been a while, so maybe I'll get one of these. And the rewards for these supporter packs are augmentations to your portal. So when you TP and that stuff, you get the regular TP, but if you buy a support pack, you get like a super cool TP, and some of them are pretty insane looking, and you know, you guys can see the clips there of a few. So that's pretty much it. There's a lot of other small changes in between, but right now I'm looking at making a few builds trying to incorporate this new function of how damage over time mechanics work. Hopefully relating it to some kind of summoner build, but you know, it's kind of up in the air at this point. If there's some cool build that I feel is going to be awesome to play, you know, definitely going to learn something from, then I'll roll another few characters on PoE. But if not, I'll just you know, play my feel-good games, do some Hearthstone, maybe a few PoEs and a little bit, some races, something like that. Or maybe we'll do some LOD or Riot. We'll see. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed my update. Hope you guys enjoy what's going on in PoE if you are playing the game. And I'll see you guys tomorrow.